One of the questions I get asked all the time is, if I'm going to go through all the effort of hiring people here and developing up to here, and that's going to cost me $10,000, and what am I going to do when the people get here? I've invested all this money and then they quit. The only answer to that is to create a game worth playing. So create a business where your employees know that you're not just busy getting work done and fighting fires, but you've got a plan for where it's going to go. You've got values and a vision for the business that you're enrolling everyone in. So what is that vision, and who's with you? In the book Good to Great, he talks about getting people on the bus. I think it's a really great chapter. So get your people on the bus because you're going somewhere. If they don't want to go where you're going, then get them off the bus. Don't hire people unless they want to get on the bus with you and they're going where you want to go. So there is a tool over here in the Guiding the Business function called Strategic Target. So it's in the library here. You can pull down in the General Process Library. I have it right here in my system already. So this is just a simple way to come up with a strategic vision for the future. So when we talk about building the organization strategy, even envisioning your processes for the future, enrolling your people in where you're going, being able to identify what is this business about and why would you want to work here? What am I doing that is serving the greater good with this business? All of this can go a long way with employees. When you go to hire people, if you can show them your strategic target and say, this is what our business is about, how do you resonate with that? Do you believe in what we believe? That's going to have you make good hiring decisions. We talked about maybe the cost of bringing in an entry-level person and training them up to a senior might be $10,000 or $20,000. Do you have any idea what it costs you when you have a bad hire? You hire the wrong person? It can be 10 times that in the most terrible of cases. A lot of times you don't even know because it's just so elusive. It's like you just know that there are struggles and they never get it and they do one thing right, but then they're sort of doing that thing right, so then you're afraid to let them go because you really need them. So with the strategic target, look at the first work plan here, and you basically can walk through each of the tasks and just kind of be familiar with what the process is. This is a good example of a well-documented process as well. So you can kind of begin to see how the work plans work and what they are. Here's the startup failure rates. What is he saying? Even after 10 years, the rates are somewhere between 96%, according to Michael Gerber, 71%. So this kind of walks you through what the purpose of the strategic target is and how to use these documents down here, which help you to develop the strategic target. So here in the uploaded files, there's an overview. So all you'll do is hit View File, and this is going to open up this document that you can read. It's a pretty good kind of explanation of how to create a strategic target. It's just more information about that. It gives you the steps, gives you the questions. These questions that you answer to develop your strategic target are also down here in the form tool. So with this form, you could just go to edit mode right here. You can then, get rid of this information once you've read it, and then just right here start to answer the questions. So going through each of the questions, if some of them don't pertain to you or they're not important to you for whatever reason, just leave them and move on to the next one. This is kind of constructing this profitability model, you might say. What are the sales? What are the direct costs? What are my marketing and advertising costs going to be? What are my fixed costs? What's my net profit? This is like how your budget should be laid out as well. Sales at the top, direct costs, sales and marketing, then your fixed costs. It's like a profit and loss statement. The bottom, what's the net profit? This management and employee philosophy. This is like your mission, your values, what's important to you. This is what you'd be saying to that new employee. Like, this is what we're about. And when you have conflicts with other employees, they're not aligned with your vision, There's always this wall. You can remind employees, this is what we're about. Do you want to be on the bus or not? Down to getting the business, all your marketing. Who is your most potential customer? What advertising processes are you going to need and use? What should your conversion rates be in order for you to achieve these goals up here? Down to doing the business. What's this production or service department going to need to look like? And then running the business. What's the infrastructure that you need? So after you answer all of these questions, you can then take the answers and put them into a narrative. So you want to build it like a story. You want to build it into a narrative because then when you read it, it brings it to life more. There's a difference between doing that and just having a list of goals. A list doesn't really come to life. It's just a list. I mean, it's better than nothing. But if you go to the effort of coming up, answering all these questions, then move it to the next level and build out a written narrative. There's an example right here. There's a client sample that you can look at. So you just hit View File, open this up, and this is just an objective that's been written into a narrative. You can use this as a template as well. Put in your company name here and start to kind of list it out. So you're taking the answers to the questions that you have right here, and then you're going to build it into a document. You can do all this inside of Touchstone as well. So you want to download the strategic target process so that you have it, but then if you want to start to develop it, you can go through the control panel here. So here's the president. I've got strategic target right here. And then right here in the form tool, I've got my written out objective. So here I can go and save it and make changes. I can call this, I think I've already titled it 2013, but you can call it what it is and then save it. And then this is an instance of this has just been saved inside a Touchstone. If you want to go back and work on it the next day, you just go to the completed folder and call it up. Hit go, and now I'm working on it again. Then the following year, you can call it up again, call it 2014, and then edit it more. So we're going to talk a lot more about what the control panel is about, but I just wanted to show that you can access that information and use the templates and save it back to Touchstone and have it all here inside your control panel. So if you do this strategic target exercise, you'll have a nice vision, and it's just, you'll notice from the sample, it's just 1 or 2 pages at the most. It's supposed to be really kind of clear and direct. It's not a big, long business plan. So you've got this vision, do your organization chart, sit and have your company meeting. For some of you, this might be the first time your employees have ever seen you sit down and talk about where the business is going and tangibly show it. If you're a manager on the line right now and the business owner hasn't done this kind of thing, you can still have this kind of strategic managerial focus within your department. And I think this is good for all managers. There can be a sales and marketing plan, the vision for that in the department. You can have your little structure that you've created for where the sales and marketing department is going. You can take that piece out of the strategic target and answer those sales and marketing questions and come up with this vision for how are you going to generate new leads? How are you going to get conversion rates up? What are the new positions you're going to hire? Same for production, same for admin finance. Are there any questions? Nope. Okay. So just to recap, work on your 4 key functions, make up your lists, and this will become apparent why this is so important when we talk next week about building job descriptions. But also from a strategic point of view, it's good to think of your list first. Then come and build your organization chart. If you're not going to do the strategic target exercise, at least consider what your goals are. What are your sales goals? What are your profitability goals? Where's the business going? Because that will then help you construct your organization chart for the future. So make the chart a picture of the future. Think about the different processes you need to implement based on your sales goals, what's going to be necessary within the company. Sketch it out. Work on a budget if you can. I'll show you that. Since we have a minute here, I'll show you the budgeting process here real quick. So this is in the library as well, and it's just a template. So I hit View File and open it. So this is what the budget worksheet looks like. So this is done by quarters, Q1, 2, 3, 4 total. I've got revenues, profit centers, then I've got my variable costs, then I've got fixed expenses here, and then profit at the bottom. So you can do this from the bottom up. It's all just kind of an algebra expression. I know what sales are, and I know what costs are, and I know what my net profit will be. So play around with the numbers. This is, budgeting kind of overwhelms people sometimes. I think ultimately it's great to have a month-to-month budget, but if this is as close as you can get because of cyclical nature or just because it's difficult for you, just do it month by month. Take the total. When you've reached your goals, you can put it in at the end and then backtrack it. So think about the profitability of this business. Then consider the current situation and kind of marry the present with the future. Think about who's doing what now, whose names go in what boxes. Reorganize if you can. A lot of times people get so mired in the people dependency, it's hard to think about how you can reorganize. But really consider it, and really consider it seriously if you have more than one person's name in a box, so 2 people are accountable for 1 position, or if you've got people spanning the organization chart, and there's just no focus because they're all over the place. Think about how you can start to reorganize. Have a plan for the reorganization. If you can't reorganize Bob right away, think about what steps you need to take to then move him out of a box or move yourself out of a box. Next week, we are going to talk about building job descriptions for every box on the chart. So when you select a box from the chart, it takes you to a list of processes that this position is accountable for. These processes come from the 4 functions list. And it's really fast and easy to build your job descriptions if you have your 4 functions list done. So you've got this nice comprehensive list, then within a matter of a few minutes per box, you can build these job descriptions. Now, I talk to a lot of users who say, well, I really just want to focus on documenting this process or that process. Well, that's fine. You can list it in the 4 functions and go in and document it and implement it and use it. But at some point, consider building the infrastructure of Touchstone, because then that's going to set you up to first see all the processes company-wide. And it doesn't take that much time to get that result. I would guess, we do this in programs with businesses, and usually, from building your 4 functions list, just listing the processes, pulling things from the library, doing your organization chart, building your job descriptions, sometimes 5 to 10 hours at the most. It's really not that much time. And once you've done that, you can then be using Touchstone in a new way. It can start to be this strategy tool for you. At the point that you just have the job descriptions built, even if none of the documentation is done, at least you have a job description. That's a fabulous tool. Even if I don't have all the documentation for how to do all that work, I can work on that over time. But now I've got this great job description, which says exactly what each of these positions is accountable for.